little bit about Jump Demand before I get into the presentation. Jump Demand is an organization tailored specifically for helping businesses grow through online marketing. Everybody within our organization today has a background in industrial automation, product sales, and marketing. And definitely we serve many markets, but I think the one that we're best suited for is helping people who are currently selling or implementing industrial automation products. And we do this, how we help businesses grow is through automation, specifically marketing automation and sales strategies. We have a marketing automation platform called Active Demand that we use to help our clients, as well as clients use it to help themselves. So ourselves, again, we're many, many years of experience driving product and services sales globally. And doing this not just through having exceptional products and services in the industrial automation space in our past. How we've succeeded in our past is through the concepts of advanced online marketing and demand generation strategies. We have a lot of experience with building authority for organizations, conversion optimization, helping people transform their current accounts into performing accounts and finding new business and helping people compete. And really, marketing and selling industrial automation products is where our expertise is, and we've achieved our success in the past through full funnel engagement, and again, we help our clients grow by understanding and optimizing the revenue funnel. And again, like I mentioned, we have a automation platform specifically that helps people drive sales growth and marketing growth through marketing automation. Active Demand is very similar to an HMI for marketing. This presentation, though, is going to focus specifically on helping unlock some of the growth or removing some of the barriers to growth that some of your organizations may be facing today. And really, this presentation is more focused on, I would say, helping people unlock some of the, or remove some of the sales barriers, rather, that they are currently could be facing, than, say, some of the others. Many, many ways to help people grow, and I think this one's more focused on a bit on the sales and marketing and product management strategies than some of our other presentations. So we'll talk about growth, we'll talk about the revenue funnel, we'll talk about some of the problems I've seen in some of the organizations I've worked with, or some of the people I've helped unlock their growth, is some of the problems, and I'll present some strategies to try to help unlock that growth, and I'll talk about the sales and marketing gap. So growth, this is the key word here, and I'm sure everybody on the phone today is losing sleep over this word. It is the mountain that everybody is trying to climb. How do we achieve better than market growth? How do we capture the markets that are currently where we're facing heavy competition? How do we beat our competition to the customers? And how do we drive and sustain profitable growth? This is really what everybody should be losing sleep over. And the challenge with climbing this mountain is that the mountain is always changing. And it's a case that we can look up the mountain and think about how we're going to achieve growth, and in the process of executing our strategies, the reality is the mountain actually changes. So those folks that don't have solid strategies in place and don't spend a lot of time looking at what's going on outside of their organizations, the reality is somebody else is going to beat them to the top of the mountain, and they're going to achieve the growth, and it's going to be much harder for you to achieve this growth. So if we think about situations where we're not growing, so right now we've got a lot of smart people in our organization, and we're seeing flatlined revenue. We're missing consistently our sales targets. Really, if we're in this situation, one of the things that we do take a stock of is, okay, what do we got on the ground to help us close the deals? And okay, so I have great salespeople. I've spent the money. I've got some exceptional sales talent. And these salespeople I know are working. They're working their butts off. They're out there knocking on doors. They're talking to people. They're talking to their key accounts. But the message back is, oh, it's market problems. Our customers are having issues. We're not. They're having capital or financing problems in manufacturing. Yeah, you've heard all these stories, and the answer that comes back is we're going to miss our sales targets again. So typically, I've seen this many times, is leaders jump to the conclusion that, well, I have a sales problem. It's my salespeople. It's clearly these salespeople are not doing their jobs because I'm missing my targets. But the question is really, or is it actually the case that it is a sales problem? Is it the people I have on the ground that are not doing their jobs, and that's why I'm missing my growth targets? And I've actually seen some leaders, get so frustrated that they end up and blaming it completely on the salespeople that they end up just clearing house, literally handing out pink slips, and the sales force is gone, and they start from scratch because they think, you know what, I have a sales problem. But I really, that strategy is, as you'll see in this presentation, is the wrong strategy, and it's literally cutting off your arm to try to solve a problem. So really, and you'll see through this presentation, it is definitely optimizing your sales processes and your sales people and your product management strategies are really key to growth, but it is not just one element. So for a second here, let's change the focus, not internally as for some of the things that are hurting our growth. Let's just shine the light outside of our organization and look at our customers. So I'm assuming today that the people on the phone are selling into the manufacturing space. So industrial automation, why we sell industrial automation products is that we're trying to help people optimize some manufacturing process. So we look at a typical manufacturer and we think about the pains that they are currently facing. So it's a case of they are as well they're in a highly competitive environment. They're trying to grow their businesses. They have operating plans. They have shareholders. They have people that they have to keep happy. So if we think about how they're doing it, is at the very top of the chain, you have the senior management, the C-level people making very big strategic decisions and allocating very large segments of their budget to achieve these goals. And as you move down the chain, the pieces of the strategic plan are broken down into smaller and smaller projects and smaller budgets. So if you go through B level, they get their allocated budget that they've fought very hard for, which is quite sizable, clearly not as big as it's a subset of the total corporate expenditures. And they're really trying to help achieve these C-level initiatives. And again, their budgets are a bit smaller. There's a bit more of the projects rather than the single corporate objectives. And as you move even further down, the managers, they have smaller budgets, but there's more of these managers and they have many more of these projects on the go. And you move down to finally down in the engineering group, they have small budgets, but many of these projects on the go, hence the width of the funnel as you see here. And our jobs as people trying to sell into the industrial automation space is try to capture as much of this money as possible, because we want to succeed as automation vendors in this space. So if we think about look in our organization, any purchase of an industrial automation product or service really incurs risk in our client space. If they make a decision, production's lost, sometimes lives could be lost. It is extremely risky from the previous slide. If somebody is going to spend their money on automation, it's so risky. The reality is to mitigate this risk, they bring lots of constituents into the purchasing process. They have processes involved to ensure that the right decisions are being made, the right checks and balances are in place, and hence because of all of this risk mitigation that our customers have, it stretches out the sales cycle. So there's, as we all know as professional salespeople, that selling in industrial automation space, it is a longer sales cycle, hence we have a sales funnel. And I'll talk in a couple of slides about the sales funnel, and I'll talk a bit about the revenue, the marketing funnel in a bit. But I just want to talk specifically about the entire revenue funnel from a macro view. So we have our sales funnel, and a lot of organizations selling into the manufacturing space know the sales funnel very well. The challenge is that that's all they're focusing on is the sales funnel, and the reality is there's a marketing funnel that is superimposed on top of this sales funnel, and it is how these two, the strategies to execute on these two funnels that really sap the growth of organizations. So I'm going to just change the focus again, drill down specifically to the sales funnel. Now, people on the phone who have sales organizations, they know this concept of the sales funnel very, very well. There is this, it is funnel shaped. It represents people at a specific stage of the buying process. And it is funnel shaped because there's natural attrition. Each stage is a probability of this specific opportunity moving to the next stage, or closing rather. So the width, there's more people at the top of the funnel than there is at the bottom of the funnel, hence the probabilities. And you can actually see the width as number of prospects as a specific segment in the sales funnel. Now, as sales professionals, we all know very well that the funnel is real. There are no shortcuts. We have to really have strategies in place at each segment of the funnel to move people through to where they be changing the people who are currently our prospects to where they become customers. So this is stuff we know very well. Now, selling into the industrial automation space, we're constantly talking to our clients about optimization. And we know that to have this process of closing people, to optimize it, really we require sales processes. And the sales processes, if we do not have sales processes, there is no way we're going to come up with the optimal, we're not going to be able to optimize the resources we have to attack our current open opportunities. So I'm going to talk now about the first growth problem. And the first growth problem I've witnessed is a sales model misalignment. So if we think about this problem, if we think about what it takes to succeed in selling in the industrial automation space, it really requires, I see this as 3 buckets. One, as I just mentioned, sales process. And every organization, every company who is selling products in the industrial automation space, every one of them has a unique sale and optimal sales process for their products or services. There is not one single sales process that really you can succeed with across all different types of products and services in the industrial automation space. I know there's a lot of people out there selling books and training programs, etc., that say that their process is the best process and the one that you're going to succeed with. The reality is it's going to require some effort to succeed in your organization. So there is a sales process that is unique to your organization. Second, that is unique to your organization is the product prescriptions. So what are the products they're going to solve that are going to solve the customer domain problems? So the unique set of services and products that you offer, there is a unique package for each of your customers. So there's, I argue, everybody on the phone today has multiple prescriptions for multiple problems in their customer space. And the last bucket is customer domain knowledge. It's really being able to understand what are the problems facing your clients today. And I've sold in many different industries, and if you've ever sold in pulp and paper, it's very different than selling in pharmaceutical. You know, I've sold IT systems into pulp and paper, and I've been to pulp and paper plants where there's literally moss growing on the control systems. You know, whereas I've sold in pharmaceutical, and let me tell you, you can't just expect somebody to move in some automation without a whole bunch of regulations and checks and verification processes to succeed, whereas in pulp and paper it's quite different. So if you have a salesperson who doesn't truly understand the customer domain that you're selling into, you're going to have challenges. So really, to be successful in sales in industrial automation space, you have to have these 3 buckets filled. So this is where your top salespeople, and typically industrial automation companies, if you think about the CEO or founder of the organization, he has all 3 of these buckets overflowing. But to hire somebody, this person has to be successful in these 3 areas to be as successful as that founder. So if we think about, and I say this is for all areas of industrial automation sales, you have a junior salesperson, if you hire somebody off the ground, I don't care where this person's background was, unless they worked for you specifically for many years. Anybody who walks into your organization day one, and doesn't matter how big their resume is, how well they're known in the industry, for you, from day one through almost their first year, I argue, they know one of the 3 buckets. And hence, they are a junior salesperson. And it'll take literally at least a year to fill the second bucket. So again, now they know 2 of the 3 buckets that are unique to your organization and your product offering. And now, once they have filled 2 of these buckets and they have some experience in the third, they're now, what I argue, is an intermediate salesperson. And the third is the account executive. So this is the person who, like the founder, is now truly has a lot of experience in the 3 buckets that I talked about. And this typically takes literally more than 2 years to succeed, not just in industrial automation sales. I'm saying industrial automation, selling your products or services. So it's important to understand that, just hiring somebody, and this is something that I see, especially with a longer sales cycle, and it brings on risk, is you bring in a new salesperson, and the misconception is that, you know what, I'm going to hire a superstar. He understands all 3 of these buckets, and that is absolutely wrong. And then we're wondering, especially with longer sales cycle, is this person succeeding? No, he's not succeeding. Man, I misspent my money. The reality is, if you understand these 3 buckets, and it's going to require effort by you to succeed with these salespeople, that you're better prepared to build a strong team. Now, I talked about sales models and sales model misalignment. Now I've built this case of the evolution of a salesperson. And I've built sales teams across the globe, and what I'm saying here is from experience. I've experienced this personally. It's not something that I've read in a book or something like this. This is from experience. Now I'm going to talk about sales models. There's different ways to attack your customer base. One, from a sales perspective, is telesales. Pick up the phone, have a conversation with the person, try to understand some problems, and then try to find a prescription and move on. Phone somebody else. So it's really, that's the telesales model. Direct sales is where we're now engaging with the client one-on-one, and we have a personal relationship, or we try to build a relationship with our clients and have an understanding, not just superficially, but more in depth as to what's going on and how we're actually going to solve problems. And then the next sales model is solution sales, where it's truly, as you see, we're moving up the chain here, more consulting in the sales process. So a solution sale is we're understanding the problem, we're providing some mentorship or guidance as to how to solve the problem with the right solution. And then finally, business development, where we're dealing with, we're part of a strategic team in our account, and we're viewed as members of that team to try to, solve very complex problems for organizations. So these are the different sales models. Now, the strategy I'm going to present to you is align the sales model with the sales skill. So we typically have a misalignment. Misalignment in the sales model and sales skill level saps your growth, because Now you're applying the wrong tools to solve the wrong problem. So if you think about this, really you should have your junior salespeople doing telesales. You shouldn't be taking a junior salesperson assuming that they're going to become valued partners at the C level of your key accounts. Right? And if you're taking your account executives and they're sitting here making phone calls, doing superficial telemarketing type stuff, you are wasting your money and your time. So really, if you see here, there's a way of building a funnel of within your sales organization, an experience funnel, if you come up with multiple sales models that are aligned with your sales teams. And I personally, I had built a sales structure that had my junior people. They were really pre-qualifying leads, doing really superficial stuff, and they were paired with my intermediate salespeople. My intermediate salespeople were paired with my account executives. So it was really, I had a lot of sharing within my organization, sales organization, and I had a way for growing these people. And I aligned my sales models with my sales skill level. So the next challenge that I see here, and this is more of a product management approach, is, and again I talked earlier about one of the buckets is the product prescriptions for the customer problems. Now if you have only one product prescription and you're going to market with one product prescription, the reality is you're going to really limit your ability to grow within your client organizations. So I'm going to introduce a couple of concepts here, or definitions rather. Is I define product, solution, and platform as they appear on this grid. So on the bottom axis you have time to value, and what time to value means is once the purchase is made, how long does it take for your client to actually realize the value of the acquisition? And on the top, on the left grid, we see here the y-axis is how much consulting and customization is required to succeed with the product prescription. So at the very bottom end of the scale, we have products. Products are short time to value. The purchase is made. Very soon after the purchase is made, the customer is realizing the value. And it's a fixed entity. It isn't going to require changing or code work or any of this type of stuff. And hence, there's really a relationship is that you should be able to deliver the product and get a quick turnaround time to value. And it's also easier to sell. The solution is a little bit more complex because now we're aggregating a bunch of products with some specialized knowledge and consulting to provide a product prescription that solves a very unique customer problem. And then finally, the last element is the big daddy, is the platform. And this is where you're working with your client organization to define, are we building a house or are we building a warehouse? Are we building a multifamily dwelling? What is really the problem we're trying to solve, and what are we going to do from a services perspective and a product perspective and an architecture perspective to solve the problem? And typically, this type of sale, the time to value is extremely long. Now, if you think about a classic example of a platform is an ERP system. I personally have been through several implementations in organizations where we've had I've been through several implementations of ERP systems. And if you haven't been through this yourselves, let me tell you, for those folks that have been through it, clearly this is a platform, right? A platform is, with an ERP, it doesn't exist until, well after you're spending a ton of money. There is a ton of consulting services. You're getting a lot of constituents in your organization involved in the process. It's it's multifunctional across organization. You have to have all of these meetings, all of these people, and let me tell you, the folks who are selling an ERP system are making money. Somebody's making money during the whole process, and you still haven't achieved any value. So SAP is one of these platform sales. Another type of product is Crystal Reports. Crystal Reports is a reporting package. I don't know if you've used Crystal Reports. I've used it many, many times over the years. And it's clearly a product. Now, if you think about, it's interesting here is that SAP purchased Business Objects in 2007. Business Objects actually are the makers of Crystal Reports. So the question that I was thinking about is, why would SAP buy Crystal Reports? If you're thinking about selling reporting, if you have SAP, you have reporting. So why would they buy Crystal Reports? And they spent in 2007 $7 billion to purchase Business Objects. And at the time, Business Objects were, their current revenue was about 1 billion, or just over 1 billion. So really they paid a factor of 7 on revenue to purchase a company that wasn't really delivering and, you know, knocking it out of the park. So clearly it had to be a strategic acquisition. And I've never worked for SAP. I'm not privy to why they bought Business Objects and Crystal Reports, but really it fits into my story here, so I'm going to tell, is I speculate why this purchase was made, and I'll talk about it in the next few slides. So again, I don't have the information on the purchase. This is pure speculation. So if we go back to this funnel, this pyramid that I talked about, is the different objectives. This is in the client's, this is your client's view, is what they're trying to achieve. So my growth strategy is to create a product path within your client's organization. Because if we flip that last slide upside down, it is now a funnel. And what I mean by a funnel is that if you look at, if you have, if you attack the funnel at the top, you can get money from the organization very quickly. You can get introduced to the company. You can build value, move to the next stage, move to the next stage, move to the next stage, and finally, you're now a business partner within this new client organization. And with product pathing, you can achieve this. So you can apply products, sell products into at the lowest level of the organization, build up trust within the organization, start selling solutions, build trust, start selling platforms. And really, if you look at this, this becomes a relationship maturity path. So it's quick win, time to value very quickly at the top, where you're addressing functional requirements with individual products. Then you move up to, again, aggregating some of these solutions. You're starting to build relationships. And again, you're starting to finally be able to sell a platform at the top. And this, again, if you look at from as an outsider, you can actually see is that, like myself, I've purchased Crystal Reports, and what's that tell SAP about me? It tells the client, it tells SAP that I have a business reporting objective at my level of the organization. So again, they could start really driving the relationship with my organization to finally, does anybody else need reporting? Okay, well maybe we need to have some type of a report server. Oh, the report server is working extremely well. Who else needs reporting? How are you handling the corporate reporting and meeting your strategic? Now it's a platform sale. So really, there's this relationship maturity that goes on. And again, I'm not saying that SAP bought Crystal Reports for this reason. To me, it seems obvious as it's a great strategy to buy Crystal Reports for this type of an objective. So think about it in your organization as, how do you build a relationship product path within your clients? So now I'm going to talk about the next challenge that people have that saps growth. This is really the wrong people selling the wrong offering. So if you went back and you have your product path and you have you've come up with multiple product prescriptions that are aligned with objectives within your client's organization, now you can actually think about how this fits with the previous slide. So I've said before, is you got to have the right salespeople using the right sales model. I argue they should be selling the right product too, or the right offering, or the right product prescription. So the junior salespeople using telesales selling discrete, low, short time to value products to enter a new client organization, and then as they build their relationship with that client, they can actually start selling solutions and eventually become an intermediate sales, and eventually they can become account executives through their experience. If you think that your junior sales are going to be selling platforms anytime soon, you're wrong. You're going to find very quickly after a year, because it's a year sales cycle, it's that it was a sales problem. But really, it's your problem, is because there was a misalignment of the assets you have as in the sales organization, putting them on the wrong, attacking the accounts with the wrong methodology and selling the wrong product prescriptions. You're setting them up for failure. So really, again, what I'm trying to say here is align your product path, align the sales skill and the sales model together to achieve growth. So putting it all together, we have this relationship funnel with the product solution platform, and now we're going to overlay it with the sales, applying the salespeople to the picture. Junior salespeople selling low into the organization with short time to value offerings or product prescriptions. When I say product, it isn't just a software product. It would be a services product. Something that's like training is a great services product that's very short time to value. And then next is the solution. Is again, it doesn't have to be just a discrete offer. It could be services as well. You have your intermediate people focusing on solution sales, and finally your account executives. You're just focusing them primarily on building strong relationships at the upper levels of the organization and consulting with them to help them achieve their big corporate initiatives. So, and again, maturity, that's the point. Maturity of the salespeople, maturity of the relationship with your clients, and really the size of the account. So now I'm going to go to the next problem, which is your salespeople are marketing and not selling. So they lack the marketing expertise to drive sales, and this is I talked very early about the sales funnel and the marketing funnel, and I've been focusing primarily on sales. Now I'm going to start to bridge the sales and marketing gap, and believe me, there is a gap. And if you think that the marketing folks, the sales folks rather, are going to be exceptional marketers, and I see it time and time again, is that they feel that the salespeople have to be marketers to succeed. And the reality is no, they're actually two different roles. Now, if this was a study that was done last year, the results were this year, but the study was last year, and it was looking at many companies with regards to their strategic initiatives. So one on the bottom is you see what was the growth targets for the organization. That's the line on the bottom. The blue line was what was their marketing budgets as a percentage of revenue. And they found that it was actually the case that the people that only had a modest growth target were actually spending a smaller percentage of their. I mean, we're actually spending a larger percentage of revenue on marketing. And the people on the right who had a we're going to double sales this year, and they actually only had a small percentage of their revenue spent on marketing. Which of these two groups, the people on the left or the people on the right, actually were making their targets? The people on the left. The people on the right, time and time again, gee, we didn't make our targets again this year. Well, it's clear. There's sales and marketing that are required to succeed. So I showed the sales. I went into detail about the sales funnel. Now, superimposed on this is the marketing funnel. And the roles of marketing and sales are very different. So really the role of marketing is to apply pressure to all of the people that currently do not work for your organization and move them towards what I call the lead opportunity boundary. So their job is to work extremely hard in collecting and introducing your company to those people that could or will be in a position to get value from your products or services. That's the role of marketing. And really what they do is they apply pressure to the lead opportunity boundary, then it's handed over to your sales organization, and the sales organization project manage the process once there is an opportunity in play. And marketing then is now in a supporting role of sales to help the salesperson quarterback the opportunity to success. So it's really coordinating the marketing and sales efforts and understanding that each of the roles are actually unique and supportive. They have to be working together. Now, if we think about the marketing and sales funnel relationship, there is actually a correlation between the relationship and the product solution and platform product prescriptions. For the product, the effort is always heavily reliant on marketing. So marketing does all of the focus. They really are driving the this is the product, this is the product you need, this is the problem it solves, etc. And at the other end, marketing is playing, really focusing hard on brand, really focusing hard on, they're much earlier in the process with regards to a supporting role with regards to sales. So there is an alignment challenge here regarding the product prescription and marketing and sales working together. And if this misalignment if there's misalignment here, again, you're going to sap your growth. A good example is iPad, buying an Apple product. It is clearly short time to value, and really marketing does all of the heavy lifting. If you walk into an Apple store and you try to ask the sales representative anything complex, they will respond, was that the 16 gig or the 32 gig? They're really not geared up to build a solution. They're really to deliver the product. And the far end of the scale is SAP. And again, they're really, you're not just going to go into a store and buy SAP. I bought Crystal Reports. My last license of it, my engagement with the salesperson was, yeah, I'm having trouble downloading this link. Can you help me? Oh, yeah, here, let me give you another link. There you go. That's all. That was the conversation. But marketing did the heavy lifting to get me in the door. So really what I'm trying to say here is align marketing strategy and budget with your growth targets. And this is the green element here, focus sales on selling. If you think your salespeople are going to be marketers, you know what? Hire them as marketers and go hire some salespeople. And I argue if you're hiring your salespeople correctly, most salespeople really dislike spending the time on the marketing. They want to be engaged in project managing opportunities. If you got salespeople in the audience today, put up your hand. Who wants to be doing marketing? No, it's always, I want to be engaged in the opportunity. I want to bring in the deal, right? So understand that there is two roles here, and apply. You're paying a lot of money for some great sales talent today. Focus them on selling, right? And if you want to evaluate your marketing effectiveness, there's a link here. You can copy it. It'll also be at the end of the slide. If you want to evaluate your marketing effectiveness and what's the relationship with your sales and marketing, we have a great little survey here that you can take. Again, it makes me back to my first slide. I'm not missing my growth targets because there's a sales problem. Well, it might be the case that there's a sales marketing gap problem. It isn't that, I know the slide says it's a marketing problem. No, it's actually not identifying that you actually have to have marketing, focusing on marketing activities, and salespeople working on sales activities, and there has to be a aligned strategy between these two. So go ahead, take the later today or whatever, you can take this survey. So I'm coming towards the end here. Something that I'm hopefully communicating, that growth-constrained companies typically have alignment issues. So one is maybe there's an absence of strategy completely, and it's just, nose down to the grindstone. We've got to solve all these customer problems. We're now out of sales. We got to go do something to bring in some more people because our people are sitting on the bench. We got to lay people off because we're not busy anymore. So really, there's typically alignment issues on the sales and marketing side of things. So you either got the wrong people selling the wrong product to the wrong audience, or one of these combinations. And maybe you lack the marketing maturity to utilize your sales expenditures, or maybe it's a case that you're not recognizing the differentiator between what is a marketing activity and what is a sales activity. So summary of my theories here. Marketing sales strategies vary with sales seniority. They vary with the maturity relationship with your organization. It's a case you have to align your, you have to build a product path so you can build a relationship with your clients. You've got to align the salespeople with the right sales model, selling the right product at the right time. Understand that it takes time, and you have to invest this time to make salespeople successful, and you got to provide them not just the support to be successful as salespeople. You got to provide them the marketing support to help them succeed. You've got to give them fertile soil to grow in. So you really, I'm saying you got to stop wasting the valuable salespeople's time. Make sure that they're trained properly to do their jobs, and get them out of the low-level marketing tasks, and really think about all of the alignment that I've presented in this presentation. So yeah, that's pretty much the presentation. And again, think about us as well if you need some strategy assistance. This is something that we help folks with. We also have technology to help your marketing team succeed, as well as we can provide help throughout the entire revenue funnel evaluation and strategy assessment. So